Alright, today we're going to talk a little bit about graphing linear inequalities. Linear inequalities resemble linear equations in a lot of different ways. The graphed line in our linear inequality is going to be called the boundary. When you use the greater than or less than sign, which means your answer is not included on the line, we represent that by using a dashed line. If you use a greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, we represent that with a solid line. The graph of the inequality is the shaded region on your graph, which means all numbers that satisfy your inequality are going to be in the shaded part of your graph. So here's our first example. We're going to graph 2x plus 3y is greater than 6. And just like with linear equations, we're going to solve for y to put this into slope-intercept form. So we're going to subtract 2 from both sides, and then we're going to divide by 3, and we get y is greater than negative 2/3 x plus 2. So we know that 2 is our y-intercept, so we can go ahead and graph that point at 0, 2. And we also know that negative 2/3 is our slope, so we're going to go down 2 points and to the right 3 points. And we can go ahead and graph our second point there and draw our boundary. Notice that our boundary is a dashed line in this case because the boundary is not included in our answer because there's no equal to in our inequality. So next we need to test a point. The origin, or 0, 0, is the easiest if it doesn't fall into your line. So all you need to do is plug 0, 0 into the original inequality. So you get 2 times 0 plus 3 times 0 is greater than 6. And you go ahead and solve that and you get 0 is greater than 6. Since this is a false statement, you would shade the region that does not include 0, 0. So your graph should end up looking like this. And what this means is anything that falls into that shaded region satisfies your inequality. All right, here's our second example. We're going to work a little bit with making an inequality and graphing it from a word problem. So it says a mail order company is hiring temporary employees to help in their packing and shipping departments during peak season. We're going to write an inequality that describes the employees that can be assigned to each department if the company has 20 temporary employees available. So we're going to go ahead and set up our variables. We're going to have P equal the number of employees that they assign to packing, and S be the number of employees they assign to shipping. The company will assign at most 20 employees, so we will use less than or equal to because they can assign less than 20 or they can assign exactly 20. And we're going to end up with an inequality that looks like this. We have P plus S is less than or equal to 20. So here we have our inequality again. P plus S is less than or equal to 20. P represents our x coordinate in this situation, and S is going to represent our y coordinate. We're going to find the intercepts where they cross the x coordinate and where they cross the y, or the x axis and where they cross the y axis. So we're going to plug 0 in for P and 0 in for S. We end up with S is less than or equal to 20 and P is less than or equal to 20. So we can graph those points. S is less than or equal to 20 means we cross the y at 20, and P is less than or equal to 20 means we cross the x-axis at 20 as well. Since we have 2 dots, we can go ahead and draw our line. Notice it's a solid line because the line is included in our answer because it's less than or equal to. So next we're going to test a point. I picked 0, 0 because it does not fall into our line. I'm just going to plug 0 in for P and 0 in for S. This ends up with 0 is less than or equal to 20. Since this is a true statement, you shade the side that includes 0, 0. So your graph's going to end up looking a little like this. Notice I did not shade the negative areas of the graph because they cannot assign negative employees to a certain area. So in this case, it doesn't make sense to shade the negative part of the graph. So we would only shade the positive quadrant of the graph. Alright, so here are your survey questions. Be sure you write these down in your notebook and come with all the examples written down.